Welcome devs to another challenge. This is the May 22 challenge from Frontend Mentor. It's called the expenses chart component. Please go ahead and download this challenge, and it's for free, and code along me as we complete this challenge. Please, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, do also subscribe and leave us some comments to help my channel grow. So I've already done that, and as you can see, this is the starter pack that I have downloaded, and as you can see, online 11 I've linked up to this our style sheet, and then online 40 and 41 I've also linked up to our JSON file and our script file. We'll be doing the JavaScript. So I'll be using a live server for this challenge. It's on port 5500. Okay, so without wasting time, let's get on to the challenge. Now I'll start off by having a div. I'll call it main area. This will wrap up everything. Then inside the div, I'm also going to have another second div which will wrap up everything as well. Div, I'll call it dot card area. So now I'm going to have a div for the top content. Div, call it top. I'm going to split content from the design. You can see that there's content to the left and content to the right side. So on the top div, I'm going to do that. So now let's give a div for the left side, top div left. Then I'm also going to have a div for the right side. On the top left, I'm going to use some paragraph tags as well as some h tags, h1 tags. Then on to the right side, it's going to be we are going to have a logo, so it's an image. So now it's time to drag the content. Let's drag this content. Now for the content is inside our images folder. This is the logo svg. So just have to write images slash logo dot svg. Now there you see we're done with the top. Now I'm going for the bottom main. We have to call it div dot bottom. Main. Now for the bottom main, I'm going to start off with our header. This content, just cut it and let's give it some h1 tags, and let's paste our content there. Now we are going for div dot. This is where we are going to have our chart, so I can give it a class name. I'll call it chart box. Remember, this is where we're going to have our. Now I need another div to put on to the content right at the bottom. The content, as you can see, we've got content to the left side as well as content to the right side. So I'm going to have to put another div there. So I'll say div dot class name. Let me call it left again. Then I'm going to, okay, I need to wrap everything first inside a div. So let's create a div. I need to wrap it. I'll call it bottom section. Now this is where you are going to wrap all our content. Okay, yes, everything now looks okay. Yes, now I've done for the left side. Let me have another div for the right, for the content to go onto the right side. Now the content going onto the left side. There is the content that is going to the left side. Let's cut it. And place it there. Now the content going onto the right side. Pick of checks. Let's have a class name of, I'll call it percentage. Then I'll have another class name for the now. Let me call it last month. Okay, it's time to drag. Let's paste our content there. Then I will appropriately, yeah, this content is going there. And while is this content is going. Now you can look from our design. Yes, remember the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday content. This is the content that is going onto the chart. But for now, let me reduce the unnecessary spacing. Okay, now it's time to go on to our styling CSS. By looking at the style guide, you can see that we have requested the font family. This is the one that they want. They want the DM sans. So just copy this link as I violated and go onto the page, and there it is. Inside the page, you can see this is the page. I'm going to have to copy the links and put them inside the header section. Just copy it and come to your index file.css and place like we have done there. Now it's the time for me to go on to CSS styling. Inside my styling, so first of all, I'm going inside my CSS styling. Let's start off by styling everything. Okay, let's start off by styling margin. Let's set the margin to 0. Let's start padding. Let's set the padding to 0 as well. So I'm going to use WebKit in case of different browsers. box sizing, border box. Nextly, I'm going to set border box sizing to border box. Now I want to import the font family. I just have to go there and set let's set font family. Now okay, now it's time to add another like this. Okay, yes. Now I'm going to style the main area. Let's start the main area. It set the minimum height to 100%. Let's take a look at our live server. Okay. Then we go on to width 100%. Nextly, we set the background color. Background. I need to find the color for the background. Let me go inside my style guide. Okay, let's come inside our style guide. Let's use hash. Display kit box. Display again. MX. Let me say to MX Flexbox. And then let's set a display flex. Now I want to align align everything to the center, so I'm going to use WebKit for browsers to render so that everything applies. Box align center. WebKit box spec. Remember, we use WebKit so that all our coding applies well on different browsers. MS Flex spec. Center again. And then justify content to the center. Yes, that's it. Now I'm going to card area to top. I'm going to style it. I'll start off by saying display WebKit box. Display WebKit box. Display again. MS Flexibox. Display. Flex. Now I'm going to, for WebKit box spec, justify. Again, justify. Now we're going to use the standard justify content space between. As you can see, it pushed the standard one. Then I'm now going also to use WebKit box align. WebKit box align center. Flex align. Center as well. Now we use our standard one that applies on everything. Align item center. And then I need to change the background for the div. I'm going to set it to ASCII 7. Let's take a look with this color code. Yes, the color has changed. Now I'm going to set padding to 1,4 rems. Small letters. Yes. Border radius. Let's have a border. Radius. Let's have a border radius of 1 rem. Yes, you can see that the div. Then I'm going to set the color of the text to white. Yes. Then I also want to set the margin of the bottom to 1 rem. Oh yes, there you can see that my design is taking shape. Now I'm going to go on style to the top, dot left, paragraph. I want a font size of 0.8. I'm targeting the paragraph, remember. Let's change the color to more like white. Oh yes, there it is. Let's have a margin bottom of 3 pixels. Done with that. Let's go forward for the heading text. H1 text. I'm going to increase the font size to 1.4 rems. 1.4 rems. Font weight 700. Letter spacing, which is very important. Let me set it to 1 pixel. Yes, so you can see our heading onto the top left hand has made some changes. Now I want to style the logo. Top right. I'm going to set the width to 50 pixels. Yes. Now after that, we want to style the card area on the bottom side, so I just say card area dot with the bottom. Let's start changing the background color. I need to change it. So here is our color code. Yes, there is the color code. Now nextly I'm going to set a padding all over of 1.4 rems. In small letters, yes, that would be nice. Small letters. Border radius of 1 rem. Nextly, I'm going to style the main. H1 text. Let's have the font size. I'm going to set the font size to 1.5 rems. Yes, you can see that the font size has increased on our heading that is called spending last days. Then I'm going to set a margin bottom of 0.5 rems. Margin bottom of 0.5 rems. Oh yes, there you can see. Now there is the chat box that is invisible, that is not visible at the moment, but I'm going to have to style it before I make it available. So you just this is that CSS styling for the chat. It's not yet visible, but it shall become visible once we are done with the JavaScript code. So I'm just going to use the CSS for it, so that when JavaScript comes, it will fit correctly. Chatbox. Okay, so I'll start off with display. Yes. Display. And as WebKit box align. Then let's see for next flex align. Let's set it to end as well. Then align items, flexi end. Okay, I need the gap. Let's set the gap to 5 pixels. Now I need to set the chat box is, let's say, each column box. Text align center. Then we add another chat box for the column. And we have a width of 50 pixels. Chat box dot column on hover. This is going to happen to the title. This is a new class. Oh, we're going to have the opacity is going to be at 1. Yes, this is good. Now I'm going to start the title. So we have to say chatbox dot title. Yes. Let's change the background. I need a color code for that, so I'm going to use F3E2415. Width, let's set it to 100% for the title. It covers everything. Then the color of the text should be white. It will come on top of the background color. Then I also want the border radius. I also want the border radius of 5 pixels. Then padding 3 pixels. Font size, I'll set it to 0.8 rems. Display, inline block, margin bottom 1 rem, and the opacity, let's change it to 0. I want to use WebKit for the transition. Okay, I will is opacity. Okay, let's have a look at why there's an error recorded there. Okay, let's remove it because if it's giving us some stress. No, let's remove it. 0.3 seconds is opacity. It's giving us error, so I need to use transition 0.3 is now I'm going also to create another new class name inside the chat box. I'll call it color for the bars. I'll have to display inline block, width 80%, background okay. Let me set the color to E7. Let's use the same color. Now border radius, I'm going to set it to 5 pixels. Okay, so I'm going to set it to pointer. Then transition, we will use 0.3 is color 0.3. Okay. Now I want everything. I want the color to change whenever time I hover through the color bar. Active states. As you've noticed that there are some active states. So I'll use chat box dot color bar on hover. I want the background color to change. Let's have it at okay, yes, that's nice. Now I want the chat box as well on the color bar. Dot max. I want to change the background color for the maximum to a new value. I have to use color codes. Max on hover. I want to change every time when I hover, so I need a new color change as well to come out there for the background. So we're going to have a new color code. Like this one. Yeah, that's the color code that I want. It will come out every time when I hover. Now, as you have noticed that there are some days Monday to Sunday, so this is I'm going to style everything there using inside the class chatbox.name. I'm going to create another class name. I'll call it each. So really then I'll call it another class. This is the class name that I want day. So let's have the color of the tag content to a new color code. Yes, there's the color code. I also want font size of 0.8. Now we are going for the main. This is the horizontal row. Okay, now for the horizontal row, I'm going to use the margin of 1 rem all over. Then I'm going to have a background color. Let's add a C9. Okay, let me add 4A. Yes, this is the color that I want. Height, let's set it to 2 pixels. Okay, border, let me set it to 0. Now I'm going to start the bottom section. So remember, the bottom section is visible with its content. It's different from the chat box because the chat box is yet to collect content that will be displayed. So for that, I'm going to start off for the bottom section. I'm going to say display flex. Yes. Then I'm going to justify the content to space between align items to flex ends. Now I want to start the paragraph section. So for me to do that, I have to use bottom section dot left and paragraph. Let's have a color. For the color code, AD. Yes, this is the color code that I want. Font size, let's have 0.8 rems. Letter spacing. Now I want to start the bottom section. I'm targeting the H2 tags left. Remember the H2 tags for the horizontal. Remember our content, this is total this month. This is on the figure amount displayed 478. So for me to that, I need to add style 2. Then we go on to font size 2 rems. You can see that the figure increased in size. Now I'm going on to the bottom right side, bottom section. That's right. Margin bottom 5 pixels. Now I want to target the percent content, that one that is visible, that is says plus 2.4 on our bottom. To me to do that, I need to go for bottom section, then identify the classes. We start off with the right class, then we go for the paragraphs dot percent. Let's take a look from our style, from our index file. Inside the index file, I use this class name. So if I want to percent, I want to reduce it. Okay. I remove this one. And we start this one. Yeah, like that. You start off with the styling color. Color code okay. Font weight, let's set it 700. Font size to 1 rem. Text align. I want to push it to the right side. Now let's go on to the paragraph. Last month, okay, I don't need to leave this space, yeah, like this, so that everything appears okay. Now let me go on to the last month. To me to do that, I just need to copy this content, and what you need to change is the last name, last month, let me just off the thing in the color. I'll need, let's see, yes, this color, letter spacing 0.3 pixels, font size, let me set it to 0.8 rems. It's not visible, it's not okay. Let me set it to 1.2. Yeah, no, 1 is fine. Yeah. Now I'm going to apply some media queries. It's media only screen. And maximum width of 500 pixels. These are the changes that we are going to have. I also want to change another one, which is shall be for 400. Cut area dot top. I also want to target another area, which is the card area dot bottom. These are the changes that I want for smaller screens. Let me have a padding of 1 rem, border radius of 0.7 rems. Yes. Okay, you can see that for mobile view we have changed. Now at the same time, on the same media queries, I'm also going to make some changes for the chat box, which is coming. If column, I want to set it with of 45 pixels. Now nextly we are going to style the maximum of 400 pixels. So I'm just going to make some changes on this data alone. Okay, for the card area top bottom, I'm going to change the padding to 0.5. Border radius, I'm also going to change it to 0.5. Then on the column, I'm going to change it to 40 pixels. Now that we have set everything, is our design. Now for the design, I'm now going to go for the JavaScript coding. So for us to go to the JavaScript coding, I'm declaring a const, which I'll use a document dot query selector chat box. Nextly, I'm going to declare another chart. I'm going to declare another variable. I'll call it variable chart underscore HTML. I'll set it to empty for now. Then we will declare another variable. I'll call it maximum index. I'll set it to 0. Put a semicolon right at the end. Then now we are going to be finding the amount with the highest amount, finding the amount with the highest amount. For me to do that, find the highest amount, I need to go for, I'm going to get information from the data dot for each each. Let's declare a function. Each function each underscore data. If each data we need it to be bigger than data. Okay, data. maximum index dot amount. Okay, we're gonna set the maximum index to index equals to index. Now we're going to give another function to calculate the appropriate height for each. So for that, I'm going to use function dot calculate height inside brackets the amount return. Return amount times 120. Okay, then amount is divided by, then it's also divided by the data using the max index dot amount. Then now we are going for the style for creating the HTML for chat. I might want to create, then for me to do that I need to fetch the documents from the file data for each inside brackets function inside another brackets each data index. We open up everything. So I'm now going to be creating a chart. So what I need is the chart HTML. Div, like you open, like you're starting a new div. So I say div dot class the class name equals to okay, the class name equals to we used each column box and to close our div. Now I'm going to have another chart. I need to copy it for chart HTML div class column, and I'm going to create another class name. I'll call this one, I'll refer to the class name column. Now on this one we are going to have a span. I'll need to delete these details, and let's start by opening up a span, and remember to close the span. Now we are going to have a class name of title. We are going to refer to class name of title. There mustn't be space left between title is data dot amount. Now let's get on to another chat HTML. This one I'm going to use a span class of color bar, so we just have to copy it and replicate and place it there. Now this one we are going to change. We'll set it to color bar, and after that we now go into if. Okay, there's an error on line 37. Okay, I'll fix it. I'll fix the error on line 37. I think it's just a typing error. So, but now we need to open if index is equals to maximum index. We can reduce the spacing. It's still okay. If index is identical to max index, okay, and this one I wanted to copy this one. Then we delete this one. Then we say chat HTML is equals to chat HTML plus max. Now we are going to be looking at calculating the height, so we need to delete this one, and let's start by putting the content inside. Styling, I'm going to styling, style equals to height equals to height equals to, we need to calculate equals to plus calculate height inside brackets each data dot amount outside plus x. Span. Okay, so it begin here and it ends there. Yeah, it makes sense. Then so we now have to, since we have now closed the span, we have now closed our span, we can put our span there. Just remove some unnecessary spacing. Now we want to, for our chat HTML, we also want to close the div that we opened on line 36. Remember, open the line 36. Let's close it. Div. Now we want to open another chat. Span class. And let me close my span. There I'm closing the span. So before I do that, I'm going to target the span with the day, class name day. We are going to be having content in between. I'll say plus each day, each data dot day. And then add another plus sign. Now we close the div on line, closing the div on line 35. So for me to do that, it's very simple. I'm just going to erase everything that is inside this div. Now we can see we just need to remove the unnecessary spacing. Now we are going to be rendering the chart. So for us to do that, we need chat box dot inner HTML equals to chat HTML. Now there it is. Now let me look at solving the our error that appeared on line 37. As you can see, just from the challenge, I still have some, what can I say, minor issues to solve. So I need to solve them. It's not coming out. The design is not coming out. So let me go on to my JavaScript coding and let's resolve some issues. Okay, I'll start on line 12. Line 12. Okay, let's remove this second bracket. Yeah, and place it on line 15 after the curly bracket. Okay, and then I still got some issues. And then on line 37, let's come here and yes, place another missing plus sign. By the look of things, the design must be okay, but it's still showing that it's failing to load. Okay, let's go into our JSON file and okay, let me start by declaring a const data. Yes, it was missing. Now let's look inside our design. There it is. Now you can look at, now that we have made some changes, but they still is failing to load. You can see that the figures are coming out, but the bars are not coming out. So let me come and check. This should be issues since the data is now being captured. This should be issues to do with our JavaScript coding. Okay, let's come to line 37. Okay, I hope you can see it on a larger screen. On line 39, line 39, let's remove the closing and this one, and let's save and look. Oh yes, these are the changes. You can see the changes now. Everything is now okay. Our application is now running correctly. Now just our application is running correctly, but there are some, but you can notice that it's not centered right at the center of the page like is our challenge requires. I want to center it at the center of the page. So this now requires some styling inside our style sheet. Let's go on to the style file. So on the main area class on line 23, let's add align items properties. Let me put it to the center. Oh yes, there you can see now that everything is now been satisfied completely. The challenge has been completed. Thank you very much.